All right, fight fans, after an amazing weekend of boxing, it's time for Hearn Unleashed.
Well, come on, that was a bit flat, Act.
Well, because I got
I know
home.
we're tired, right? Look, I've just landed in Heathrow. We're on the way to Manchester for fight week. Come on, let's pick this up now.
No, how can we be tired after a fight like that? After 73,000 people in one place, we can't be tired.
That's better, Barack, and a massive weekend for Dazn.
Yes.
I was just flown in with the execs. I know they don't like to release numbers. I told them they should do because, my goodness, they smashed out on Saturday worldwide.
Listen, I saw you yesterday walking by with, you were eating breakfast, and that's what we were talking right behind you. And first off, congrats to you, to MATCHROOM, on putting on an amazing show. I mean, when I talk about electric, I was comparing it not just to pandemic fights, I was just comparing it to overall in history, as long as I've been around boxing, the type of noise and energy that those fans brought is second to none, honestly. And I'm comparing it to Wembley with AJ. It was insane. Is it what you expected, Eddie?
Yeah, thanks for that, Act. I mean, Dan Raphael also messaged me and just said, probably in 21 years, it's probably the greatest night I've been a part of, and the atmosphere and everything. That means a lot, and it was everything I expected and more. Obviously, it's not my home country, so we've been learning the market, we've been understanding how things work, and it felt like, a bit like our crowning moment over there, really, as a business. Obviously, you can only do certain nights like that with certain types of talent and certain types of stars, and as you said about AJ, he's another one that can produce nights like that, and obviously Canelo Alvarez. So it was incredible, and it was the first time that I've done a show like that where I've learned now to just sort of step back and just look and just enjoy it a little bit more. And when you look up to those top tiers, and you saw the Mexican waves going around before the main event, and you saw the ring walks, and you felt the energy, just incredible. Incredible to be part of that.
What's crazy is that we know, because there was no international travel and Brits weren't able to come out, we know that literally everybody in that stadium was there for one man, and he has that much drawing power. What was it like afterwards, being in the presence of Canelo directly after his win?
I went into the changing room to see Canelo before the fight and saw Billy Joe, and Canelo, I said, good luck to Canelo, and he said, who's next? And I said, well, obviously this one, but it's just the belief that he has, him and Eddie Reynoso. It's a special partnership, and I thought Billy Joe was great. He soaked it up. Saw on the ring walk, he wasn't intimidated. He felt like that this was his place to be. Thought he boxed really well. Gave him probably 3 rounds in the fight, and I don't think that he really. I don't think he had the firepower to keep Canelo Alvarez off. That was the problem, and Canelo just took his time, and I think that was his toughest test at 168. I rate Caleb Plant, but I don't know. I just don't see anybody beating Canelo.
Yeah, Eddie, one thing I did notice, I've never witnessed Canelo get that caught up into the crowd in that round when he started egging the crowd on and going like this. I've never seen Canelo do that. People were saying, is Billy Joe getting under Canelo's skin? He's going to be upset. I felt that. I felt that the shots that he was throwing to Billy Joe's body was from all the antics all week. I felt like it even helped Canelo and not hurt him, right? Now, I want to touch on Billy Joe. I do agree with you. He had great rounds. I gave him 2 rounds, not 3. I don't know what Chris Mannix was. I don't know what Chris Mannix was watching, giving him 5 rounds. Oh my God, that's my guy. But in any case, Billy Joe, I feel for him. I know he has a 4 he had surgery yesterday, fractured in 4 places, his eye socket, and I wish him well. Hopefully he recovers. I can't ignore the fact that, we talked about it early on in the show, that, he had some comments to say about Daniel Dubois when he didn't finish his fight. Very harsh comments. So he's getting a little backlash on that. How was your moments with Billy Joe you know, as he was going to the hospital. I'm not sure if you went to the hospital
No, I didn't.
with him.
Yeah, so I went to. I came backstage. He'd already gone. I went to the hospital yesterday to see him with his team. Unfortunately, you're only allowed one in, one out, or one in at a time. His dad was in the room with him sleeping. I went in with his team. We waited at the hospital. Got the information that he had a triple fracture in his eye socket, and operation last night. I'm waiting to hear from his team. Obviously, I was on a plane last night. His father and Tom Watts, one of the team members, stayed out with him. Billy Joe will be returning on Wednesday, it looks like. I think, you know, with the Dubois comments and stuff like that, I don't know. I mean, I guess until it happens, it's difficult to know how you're going to react. I mean, don't forget, Billy Joe's corner pulled him out of the fight, right? So it wasn't like he just turned his back in the fight or took a knee or, you know, just no-massed it. He said to Mark Tibbs that he couldn't see. I mean, you could see, to be honest with you, I thought Billy Joe was very brave in that round after that punch. And I think he showed he's got a good chin as well. I mean, he took a lot of big shots. And as soon as that punch landed and he came up, I turned to someone next to me. I said, he's done his cheekbone. I mean, it was that obvious, you know, and actually I just watched the clip back then from the commentary, you know, and Todd Grisham saying, I don't know what's happened here. I mean, I saw it a mile off that he'd done his cheekbone. It was it was disfigured. There was basically a crepe in his cheek, and you can see. And again, I'm not a doctor, but you can see when someone has an orbital bone injury. It's not like a natural swelling, like it just balloons up like this. You can see the eye drop and the disfiguration.
Yeah,
it was pretty obvious that had happened. And Mark Tibbs said,
then.
Yeah, Mark Tibbs just went back to the corner, and Billy said, I can't see. And he said, well, you can't carry on. And they had a conversation, and they pulled him out of the fight. So I feel like it's a bit of a different scenario. But of course, when you talk and you say those things, we live in a world now, don't we, where comments and videos and clips are replayed, and sometimes, and he's going to get a lot of stick, because when you talk like he talks and it doesn't go your way, you're always going to get stick. But that's the game. I think that, to be honest with you, with that kind of injury, with a triple fracture against Canelo Alvarez, I mean, let's be honest, if he went out that round, I mean, one, he would have got knocked out, and two, he may have lost his eyesight. So, it's a difficult one, because, I don't know. But sometimes people say, I've got this eye injury, etc., and you don't know what's happened. But when it comes out that you're having an operation the next day, I don't know. We're all very brave, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's hard not to have compassion on him, but it is what it is. When you talk that much, you're going to be subject to that much ridicule,
Absolutely.
But we still hope he gets better, and we don't want any man to have to face that. But it's like you said, when you don't know your reaction until you face the same plight, and I like the response of Daniel Dubois, who was very mature and wished him well publicly as well. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did. And with Dubois made the decision himself, right? And I respect that as well. Like, that's even sometimes harder, because he wasn't pulled out by his corner team. In the middle of the round, he went down on his knee from a jab and said, I can't carry on anymore. Yeah. And sometimes that takes a little bit more courage to be the brave man, to just turn around and say, okay, look, I have to stop. Right. And, unfortunately, when you do that, you're going to get called a quitter, and you're going to get called this by people who would never even step in the ring. But that's the sport of boxing. That's where sometimes it's so harsh on fighters that Joe Public, who couldn't even do a day of training, and it's not a criticism of the fans, give criticism to a fighter, but I think, to be honest with you, if he would have come out for that round with Canelo, I dread to think what would have happened.
I'm glad he did. I want to move on, Eddie. Canelo Alvarez, we were at the press conference. We didn't head back to the hotel. We wanted to see what Canelo and yourself had to say at the press conference, and we all saw what happened. Clip went viral, all right? And some people on the internet are saying, oh, Eddie, you know, he didn't show Demetrius any love, but a lot of people sided with Canelo because it was his moment, it was his night, and he interrupted. Have you spoken to Demetrius after that, and how did you feel about how everything played out?
No, but I think what you said is quite right. You know, I didn't knock back Demetrius, but I just felt like it was a press conference to talk about Canelo's historic win. So I know that fighters call out fighters, but I never like people gate crashing press conferences. And, you know, it's not that I don't back him, and I'd love to see him get a big fight, but I just feel that, you know, we were there to try and talk about the Saunders fight, Demetrius Andrade. Everyone knows what Canelo wants to do. He just wants to become undisputed and fight Caleb Plant. Right. Demetrius Andrade is the world middleweight champion who needs to be fighting Charlo and Golovkin and unifying in his division. Canelo is the weight class above. Like, it's not, at the moment, it's not even on the radar. So, right. You know, but I enjoyed it. You know, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, you know, good. Listen, Demetrius caused some noise. I don't think it was bad for him. And for Canelo, he just showed everyone again his personality, which everybody's loving to see. You know, and the English, and, you know, I think for a long time, Canelo, one, because he wasn't comfortable with speaking English, and two, because, you know, maybe he wasn't giving people the access that he is now. People are getting to see the true personality of Canelo. And, you know, I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but he's funny.
Yeah.
You know, he's cheeky, and he's, you know, I think people like to see that clip. I mean, it's gone everywhere. And I think at the time, Canelo and Eddie Reynoso were probably thinking, Eddie, why have you let this guy in the press conference? But, you know, afterwards, they probably thought, actually, I handled that quite well, you know. But Demetrius, we're all pushing for a big fight for Demetrius. And, you know, he's more than entitled to make some noise himself. I just, you know, for me, in that situation, we were there to talk about the Billy Joe fight, but no problem.
Do you feel like, I mean, Eddie, you're basically only competing with yourself now. You got the top guys in the sport, but do you feel like you have to compete against the next Canelo fight, 73,000 people?
I don't know. You know, we're going to start talks this week on the Plant fight. You've got the Allegiant Stadium there in Vegas. That would be incredible to do that in September. Right. I think we could do some incredible numbers in there as well. And, you know, I'm just delighted to be a part of it, really. You know, I think it's amazing to work with Canelo, and he's an incrediable draw. And, you know, we've got Canelo Alvarez, we've got Anthony Joshua, the two biggest draws in the sport. So onwards and upwards.
Yeah. Listen, Eddie, before you get out of here, while we were at the hotel, every time I saw you on the phone, I was saying to myself, is Eddie talking to somebody in Saudi Arabia? Is he getting the okay? Is this fight going to happen? Just give me an idea of when you think you're going to tell the world something.
Do you know what? I keep giving dates, and it's just, you know, right. I don't know. The fight, I can just tell you, I sound like I'm on repeat all the time. The fight is happening. I would be very surprised if you don't get news before the end of this week, to be honest with you. Right. But I can't until, you know, last week I thought we might announce on Saturday, and the broadcasters around the world said, look, we'd rather not, because, you know, obviously it's on multiple platforms, and then everyone starts having arguments and etc. So we're in a place where I believe we will announce this week. But again, like, don't shoot me if it's early next week, you know. But we can't be doing any more. Saudi Arabia, you know, it's no secret. That's where the fight's happening, and early August is the date. But you'll get the official announcement very soon. Okay,
so let's just say the official announcement was ready already, and everything was completely confirmed. Do you think it would have been right to have mentioned it that night, Saturday night, right after Canelo won? Wouldn't it have kind of like interfered with the thunder?
And that's what we thought. You know, almost like that stage was the big stage to do it, but like it was just, and I think it would have been disrespectful to Canelo as well. Yes. You know, so this week's a little bit quieter.
All right, well, listen, Eddie, I appreciate you taking the time, man. And again, congrats on a great event.
Worries. We got Frank Smith in the back there. Look, having a little
see him, Frank.
You know,
what's up, Frank?
What's up, Frank? All right, cheers, fellas.
Take it easy. All right, guys, take care.